So many students excited about this election. And did you see the debate? Yeah! Barack did a great job. Barack had his win against McCain. And today, your college is going to have its, with Coach Taylor, is going to have its 200th win at the game today. You know, I've been a teacher for 27 years. I now teach at the community college. Every day in my classroom, I see how the last 8 years has affected my students. High gas prices keep them from coming back to school when they need extra help. Some can't afford the books they need. Too many times, my students have had to quit because they cannot afford the tuition. You know, I always say that my students are my heroes because they're working, they're going to school, and they're raising children. And when times get tough, education is the first thing to go. My students cannot afford 4 more years of the same, and neither can you. That's why we need the change that Barack Obama and Joe Biden will bring to this country. We need health care for all Americans. Most of my students, many of my students, cannot afford health care. And we need a sound economy that makes it possible for everyone to realize the promise of the American dream. To protect and preserve our environment through wind, solar, and biodiesel. And we need to end this war in Iraq. You know, I think we have a good team. Not just Joe and Barack, not just me and Michelle, but all of our families, our moms, our brothers, our sisters, our children, my grandchildren, all of us. We're all working together for you and your families. And speaking of team, I want to talk a little bit about the team that you will next see in the White House. They have a loving marriage based on mutual respect. They have fun together and they know how to laugh. Michelle is the glue in making this campaign work for her children and for her husband. She's funny. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's going to be our next First Lady. Looking forward to this rally for a long time. Coming to FAMU. Let's hear it for the Rattlers. But you know, we also have some Seminoles here too. Jackson State, and I also know we've got some folks here from TCC. Let's hear it. It is just an honor for me to be here to see so many of you
And this is phenomenal. Look around. Just look around for a moment and feel this energy. Before I start, I want to thank a few people. I want to thank, first of all, my dear friend and partner on this journey. She said some kind words about me, but let me tell you, Jill Biden, Joe Biden, and the Biden family are decent people. They are good people with good values. They are smart and funny and kind. And there won't be a better team in the White House than Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And I want to thank Jill for being the partner for me this year. I also want to thank the Rickards High School band who has done a great job. You guys are awesome. And I want to thank the president of this fine institution, President Ammons, and his wife, Judy. Thank you for hosting us. We also have some other important folks here in the audience. Everyone is, but I just want to acknowledge State Representative Lorraine Osley, who's here, as well as State Representative Curtis Richardson, Commissioner Andrew Gillum, and State Senator Al Lawson. Thank you all so much for being here. So, one other person, Mallory, for that wonderful introduction. She is an example of the kind of young energy, the brains, she's awesome. And she did a great job. Let's give Mallory one more round of applause. So let me tell you, is this not an exciting time? Yeah! In this nation's history. There is so much promise out here. The possibilities are endless. We are at a moment in our nation's history where we have an opportunity to rebuild not just our families and our communities, but potentially to rebuild this nation. And let me tell you something. For the last 19 months that Barack and I have been on this journey, it has been truly amazing. It's been an amazing experience in so many ways, and as we've traveled around the country, we've seen folks do some things that we never thought they'd do. We've seen young folks finally finding their voice again, finding a reason to become engaged in politics and believe again. But we've also seen some not-so-young folks as well, who have said to me time and time again, they said, this is the first time in a long time I've been this excited about an election. And we've seen people from all walks of life. Let me tell you, in every corner of this country, there are people who are knocking on doors, making calls on the phone, standing out in the burning sun and the freezing cold, holding up signs, holding children on their shoulders. As I walk through rope lines all over this nation, I run into people who grab my arms and tell me, Michelle, I have never voted before in my life, but this is different this time, and I want to be a part of it. That's what's going on in America right now. And while I'd like to give all the credit to what's going on to my husband, who I love so much, let me tell you, this just has a little bit to do with him, but it has everything to do with all of you. We are here because the millions of you who are believing again that we can take control of our country and have a say in this election. And we're so proud to be a part of it. We've come to this point in time through many different paths. I come here as a mom, as you know, who loves my daughters. The girls are the heart of my heart and the center of my world. They're the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I think about before I go to bed at night. And the reason I'm out here leaving them behind is because their future and every children's future is my stake and should be our stake in this election. I also come here as a wife, married to this guy, Barack Obama. You may have heard of him. But I believe that my my husband will be an extraordinary president. I know that in my soul. And as many of you have come to know my story, I also come here as a daughter. I am the product of a working class background. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And I know there are a lot of Southsiders who come to FAMU and Jackson State. But I didn't grow up with a whole lot. My father was a working class man. He worked as a shift worker his entire life. He contracted multiple sclerosis in the prime of his life. He went from being a boxer, a swimmer, to someone who couldn't walk without the assistance of a cane. And as the disease made it harder for my father to get up in the morning and put on his clothes and get to work, the one thing I remember most about my father that I share as I travel around the country is that my father was the kind of man who never complained. He never